19 Black R&B legends and celebrities who hid their true sexuality until death. What if the icons you've idolized for decades were hiding a truth so personal, so profound, it could have shattered their careers? Behind every chart-topping hit, red carpet smile, and legendary performance, at least 19 Black R&B legends and celebrities concealed their sexuality, living in fear and isolation. Today, we pull back the curtain and reveal the hidden struggles that fame could never protect. Stay tuned because these stories will shock you, inspire you, and challenge everything you thought you knew about the lives of your favorite stars. Don't blink, subscribe and join the conversation. Wanda Sykes. Wanda Sykes built her legacy on laughter. But behind the sharp wit and fearless punchlines was a woman quietly fighting herself. Known for her commanding presence on stage and her unapologetic humor, Wanda became one of America's most influential comedians while carrying a truth she wasn't ready to face publicly. Success came early, yet personal clarity arrived much later. In the early years of her career, Wanda followed a path that seemed safe and expected. She married, embraced a conventional image, and focused relentlessly on her craft. From the outside, her life appeared complete. Inside, however, something felt misaligned. Each achievement brought applause, but also a deeper sense of disconnection. Comedy became both her shield and her escape, allowing her to speak boldly about society while remaining silent about herself. The turning point didn't come with scandal or exposure, but with exhaustion. After years of suppressing her authentic self, Wanda reached a moment of quiet reckoning. Alone, away from the spotlight, she recognized that denying her identity was costing her more than criticism ever could. Choosing honesty meant risking rejection, but continuing the lie meant losing herself entirely. When Wanda finally spoke her truth publicly, the response was transformative. Rather than diminishing her career, authenticity strengthened her voice. Her comedy evolved, gaining emotional depth alongside its signature sharpness. She no longer performed to survive, she performed to live fully. The relief of alignment between who she was and who she presented to the world became a form of liberation. Whitney Houston. Raised within a deeply religious environment and surrounded by an industry obsessed with image, Whitney learned early that public perfection mattered more than personal truth. As her fame soared, so did her struggles unfolded under relentless media scrutiny, turning private pain into public spectacle. The world witnessed her decline, but rarely paused to consider the emotional isolation that preceded it. Her story became reduced to headlines, while the deeper context was overlooked. Whitney Houston's legacy remains untouchable. Her recordings continue to inspire generations, standing as proof of unmatched talent. Yet her life also reveals the human cost of denying one's inner truth. She represents a time when silence was often the only path to survival for Black artists navigating fame, faith, and rigid expectations. Little Richard. Little Richard did not simply perform rock and roll. He ignited it. With towering energy, flamboyant style, and a voice that shattered conventions, he helped create a musical revolution that reshaped popular culture forever. Yet behind the explosive persona lived a man locked in an ongoing battle between identity, belief, and fear. From early adulthood, Richard Penniman felt pulled in opposite directions. His natural self-expression clashed violently with the religious teachings that shaped his worldview. Faith offered purpose, but it also demanded denial. As fame grew, so did his inner conflict. Rather than freedom, success intensified the pressure to conform, repent, and retreat. The stage became a place of release, while everyday life became a site of restraint. In repeated cycles throughout his career, Little Richard walked away from music, declaring spiritual rebirth, only to return again. Each withdrawal was an attempt to silence parts of himself he believed were unacceptable. Marriage and conventional roles were embraced briefly, not from conviction, but from hope that normalcy might bring peace. It never did. The contradictions followed him relentlessly. Unlike later generations of artists, Little Richard lived in an era with no language for public honesty and no safety for deviation. Rumors surrounded him, but clarity never arrived in time to offer rest. He spoke about his struggles in fragments, often revising his own narrative depending on fear, faith, or circumstance. What remained constant was the absence of lasting companionship and inner calm. When Little Richard passed away, the world remembered the architect of rock's foundation, the sound, the swagger, the spectacle. Less visible was the cost of a life spent negotiating between who he was and who he believed he was allowed to be. His legacy stands as both triumph and warning. Creativity flourishes through truth, but suppression extracts a heavy, lifelong toll. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye possessed a voice that sounded like vulnerability itself. Smooth yet aching, intimate yet commanding. His music spoke openly about love, pain, faith, and social unrest. Ironically, the man behind those confessions lived a life defined by emotional confinement and relentless control. Unlike artists who feared public exposure, Marvin's struggle centered on captivity within his closest relationships. From a young age, he carried deep insecurities shaped by a harsh upbringing and an intense need for approval. As his career flourished at Motown, personal freedom quietly slipped away. Marriage, instead of providing stability, became a battleground that eroded his sense of autonomy. Creativity was Marvin's refuge, but even that was threatened. His private world grew increasingly hostile, filled with manipulation, surveillance, and psychological pressure. The joy he poured into music rarely existed in his daily life. He felt watched, restrained, and powerless, unable to reconcile his inner sensitivity with the rigid expectations imposed on him. As years passed, the imbalance took its toll. Addiction, paranoia, and exhaustion began to dominate his reality. Marvin was not hiding from the world. He was trapped within it. Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams built her empire on exposure. With unmatched boldness, she turned celebrity gossip into cultural conversation, earning a reputation as a woman who feared nothing and no one. From radio to daytime television, her voice was loud, commanding. Ironically, the woman who built a career dissecting truth struggled to confront her own reality. Silence became survival, even as it drained her strength. When the carefully maintained structure finally collapsed, it did so publicly. The breakdowns shocked audiences who had long viewed Wendy as untouchable. But beneath the spectacle was a familiar pattern seen across entertainment history. A powerful woman paying the price for prolonged emotional suppression. Her decline was not sudden, it was cumulative. Wendy Williams' story is not defined by scandal, but by imbalance. It illustrates how visibility does not guarantee freedom and how control can be lost even at the height of influence. Her life challenges the assumption that strength means invulnerability. Alice Walker. Alice Walker never needed noise to command attention. Her power lived in language, quiet, deliberate, and piercing. As a writer, poet, and activist, she reshaped American literature by centering Black women's interior lives, trauma, and resilience. Yet for much of her life, Alice protected her own inner truth with careful distance. Publicly, she was celebrated as a moral voice of justice and compassion. Privately, she wrestled with identity in a society that demanded simplicity from complex souls. In an era when deviation invited erasure, Alice learned restraint. Love, connection, and self-definition were filtered through caution. These revelations were not dramatic confessions, but thoughtful recognitions, offered without apology and without spectacle. What distinguishes Alice Walker's journey is its intellectual honesty. She did not frame her life as a struggle for acceptance, but as a continuous process of becoming. She rejected labels when they limited understanding, embracing fluidity as a form of truth rather than defiance. For Alice, silence was not shame. It was protection until language felt safe enough to speak. Her writing mirrored this evolution. Themes of chosen family, emotional kinship, and non-traditional bonds appeared long. Lee Daniels built his career by telling stories others were afraid to touch. From raw portrayals of poverty and ambition to unapologetic depictions of Black masculinity, his work consistently challenged Hollywood's comfort zones. Yet behind the bold visuals and provocative narratives was a man who learned early that survival sometimes required strategic silence. Before becoming a celebrated filmmaker, Daniels navigated an industry. His voice no longer required permission, and his success insulated him from the erasure that silenced many before him. What sets Lee Daniels apart is how his personal journey shaped his storytelling rather than overshadowed it. His films and series repeatedly explore power dynamics, suppressed desire, and the tension between public persona and private. Monique is a figure whose laughter has carried millions. Yet beneath the stage lights and red carpets was a life shaped by complexity and resilience. Known for her comedic recognizing that happiness could not be dictated by convention, she chose to step away from relationships that no longer reflected her identity. The decision required courage, as it meant disrupting familiar patterns and facing judgment from both inside and outside her community. Monique's story is as much about personal reclamation as professional achievement. After embracing an open understanding of her sexuality, she integrated truth into her life without apology. She demonstrates that strength is not defined solely by accolades or visibility, but by the willingness to align one's life with inner truth. Don Lemon has long been recognized as a confident presence on national television, a voice that informed millions across America. Yet behind the poised broadcasts and polished public image was a life carefully curated to conceal personal truth. For decades, he maintained a facade, navigating relationships and societal expectations while privately wrestling with identity. As a Black journalist in a demanding and often scrutinizing industry, Don understood that perception shaped opportunity. Public admiration was contingent, and missteps could be magnified. Amid this pressure, he dated women and appeared in the media with charm and assurance, all while suppressing the aspects of himself he feared might jeopardize his career. His coming out was not spectacle-driven, but a deliberate declaration of self-recognition, offering younger generations an example of dignity and resolve under scrutiny. What distinguishes Don Lemon's journey is his integration of authenticity with responsibility. Even after revealing his truth, he continued to uphold the standards of professionalism and leadership that defined his career. His story demonstrates that visibility can coexist with excellence, and that integrity is both personal and public. Beyond his professional accolades, Don's life exemplifies the power of living deliberately. He teaches that embracing identity is not merely an act of honesty, but an assertion of agency, a reclaiming of space within environments that may feel restrictive. Through patience, courage, and calculated timing, Brat emerged in the 1990s as a fearless force in hip-hop, a rare female rapper carving her name into a male-dominated industry. Her sharp lyrics, commanding presence, and unapologetic style made her a symbol of empowerment and resilience. But behind the confident persona, a quieter struggle shaped her journey, one of concealed identity and self-discovery. Her public relationships were carefully curated, often portrayed as high-profile romances with men, yet these were facades designed to align with societal expectations and industry pressure. Realizing that long-term happiness required living openly, Brat embraced her attraction to women, transforming what had been a private struggle into a deliberate affirmation of self. She took bold steps to communicate her truth publicly, navigating potential backlash with the same confidence that characterized her stage performances. Brat's story reflects the tension between fame, expectation, and personal freedom. She demonstrates that visibility in an industry hungry for conformity does not require conformity in private life. By choosing when and how to reveal her truth, she reclaimed autonomy over her identity, turning vulnerability into strength and private longing into public affirmation. Her journey serves as a Brat shows that authenticity is a lifelong pursuit, and that true liberation comes when identity is embraced fully, unapologetically, and on one's own terms. Tevin Campbell. Tevin Campbell captured the hearts of an entire generation with his smooth vocals and soulful presence in the 1990s. As a teen prodigy, he embodied the dream of many aspiring artists, performing on stages and dominating charts with apparent ease. Yet beneath the spotlight, Tevin's private life was a web of hidden truths and unspoken fears. Publicly, he navigated relationships with women, presenting a picture-perfect image that aligned with industry and societal expectations. Behind closed doors, however, he wrestled with his true identity, struggling to reconcile the image everyone adored with the person he knew himself to be. Each public appearance, every smile on magazine covers, felt like a performance, masking a deep-seated tension that grew heavier with time. The breakthrough came after decades of living in shadows. Tevin recognized that personal fulfillment required authenticity, even at the risk of scrutiny or misunderstanding. In revealing his sexuality publicly, he reclaimed a piece of himself that had been hidden, allowing love and identity to coexist openly. The courage to embrace his truth transformed not only his personal life, but also his relationship with music, infusing his performances with sincerity and emotional depth. Tevin Campbell's journey highlights the cost of concealment and the liberation of honesty. It reminds us that external success does not equate to internal peace, and that living authentically often involves confronting fear and societal expectations head-on. By choosing to live openly, Tevin sets an example of resilience, demonstrating that true artistry is inseparable from self-acceptance. Jason Collins. Jason Collins' name became synonymous with courage and authenticity in the sports world. As a professional NBA player, he was celebrated for his skills, leadership, and on-court achievements. Yet beyond the spotlight, he carried a personal secret that weighed heavily, a truth about his sexuality he could not openly express. For years, Jason maintained the public image of a traditional gentleman, engaging in media narratives and relationships that aligned with expectations. Each smile at a press event, every handshake on the court, concealed the inner struggle he faced daily. The tension of hiding his identity grew alongside his career, a silent burden that he carried despite the applause and admiration surrounding him. The turning point came when Jason recognized the cost of concealment. Understanding that living authentically was essential for both personal well-being and professional integrity, he made the deliberate decision to reveal his truth. In 2013, he publicly came out as gay on the cover of Sports Illustrated, a historic moment that reverberated far beyond the basketball community. His disclosure was not just a personal liberation, but a powerful statement, challenging stereotypes and opening doors for future generations of athletes. Jason Collins' journey highlights the intersection of courage and vulnerability. It underscores that success is incomplete without honesty to oneself, and that living authentically can coexist with professional excellence. By embracing his identity, he transformed fear into empowerment and private struggle into a symbol of hope. Beyond the accolades and career highlights, Jason's story teaches that the journey towards self-acceptance is ongoing, yet profoundly rewarding. It demonstrates that bravery is not only about facing opponents on the court, but also confronting societal expectations and personal fears. Through his example, Jason Collins shows that authenticity is not just an act of courage, it is the foundation of freedom, fulfillment, and lasting impact. Michelle Ndegeocello. By asserting her truth, Michelle transformed what had been a private, internal struggle into a bold public affirmation. Her honesty not only reshaped her personal relationships, but deepened the emotional resonance of her artistry, making her music more powerful and relatable. Michelle Ndegeocello's journey underscores the delicate balance between fame and self-acceptance. It illuminates the courage required to confront societal pressures and internalized expectations while maintaining professional success. In embracing her authentic self, she exemplifies resilience and empowerment, showing that true artistry is inseparable from the freedom to live authentically. Through her story, Michelle teaches that self-liberation is both a personal and creative triumph. She demonstrates that authenticity requires courage, reflection, and the willingness to defy conventional norms. Her life and work stand as a testament to the transformative power of embracing one's true identity, leaving a lasting legacy for both music and the LGBTQ+ community. Karamo Brown. Karamo Brown, widely known for his role on Queer Eye, has become a symbol of empathy, authenticity, and resilience in both the entertainment world and LGBTQ+ advocacy. Behind his confident presence and inspirational guidance, Karamo's personal journey of self-discovery reveals the challenges of reconciling societal expectations with inner truth. In the early stages of his career, Karamo maintained relationships that aligned with public perceptions. He dated women and embraced a conventional image of family life, believing that fulfilling these roles would provide stability and acceptance. Yet beneath the surface, he experienced an internal struggle, a constant tension between the life he was portraying and the identity he truly felt. A turning point came when Karamo acknowledged his attraction to men, realizing that authenticity could no longer be delayed. Ending a relationship with a woman and coming out publicly on national television marked a profound moment of liberation. By embracing his sexuality, he not only freed himself from the constraints of concealment, but also redefined his personal relationships and professional purpose. Karamo Brown's story underscores the courage required to face societal pressure, personal fears, and family expectations. His choice to live openly has inspired countless individuals, showing that vulnerability can coexist with strength and that self-acceptance is a form of empowerment. Through his advocacy, Karamo demonstrates that living authentically has a ripple effect, encouraging others to embrace their truth without shame. Karamo's journey is a testament to the transformative power of honesty, illustrating that the pursuit of personal authenticity is both challenging and deeply rewarding. His life teaches that fulfillment comes not from adhering to external expectations, but from honoring one's true self. Karamo Brown stands as a beacon of hope and resilience, proving that embracing one's identity is not just an act of courage. It is a declaration of freedom, love, and lasting impact. Angelica Ross. Angelica Ross, widely recognized for her transformative role in Pose, is not only a talented actress, but also a fearless advocate for transgender rights and LGBTQ+ visibility. Her journey exemplifies the profound courage it takes to embrace one's true identity amid the pressures of Hollywood and societal expectations. Early in her life and career, Angelica navigated a world that demanded conformity. She entered relationships with men and maintained a public persona that masked her authentic self, striving to meet societal norms and professional expectations. This internal conflict often led to moments of deep emotional struggle, where the dissonance between public perception and personal truth became nearly unbearable. The turning point in Angelica's journey arrived when she fully embraced her identity as a transgender woman. Coming out publicly was not just an act of personal liberation, it was a bold declaration challenging the entertainment industry and societal biases. Through this decision, she reshaped her life, reclaiming her narrative and inspiring countless others to embrace authenticity. Angelica Ross's story highlights the intersection of vulnerability and strength. By confronting the fear of judgment and discrimination, She demonstrates that living authentically requires both courage and resilience. Her advocacy extends beyond personal triumph, creating visibility and opportunities for underrepresented voices in media and society. Her journey is a testament to the transformative power of self-acceptance. Angelica illustrates that fulfillment and empowerment stem from embracing one's truth, despite the challenges it may bring. She embodies a message of hope. Authenticity is not just a personal victory, but a force capable of inspiring change, fostering understanding, and promoting inclusion. Angelica Ross's life and work remind us that true freedom is found in the courage to live openly, unapologetically, and with unwavering pride. Raven-Symoné. Raven-Symoné, the multi-talented actress and singer known for That's So Raven and the Cheetah Girls, has long captivated audiences with her vibrant personality and boundless energy. Behind the bright smiles and playful humor, however, lies a personal journey marked by self-discovery and the challenge of embracing her authentic identity. Throughout much of her career, Raven maintained public relationships with men, crafting an image that conformed to societal expectations and the entertainment industry's standards. While the world saw a cheerful, confident star, she privately navigated feelings that contradicted this outward persona. The tension between public perception and personal truth often led to periods of introspection, as she sought a life aligned with her genuine self. A turning point came when Raven openly embraced her sexuality, acknowledging her attraction to women. By stepping into the light and living authentically, she liberated herself from years of concealment and societal pressure. This candid revelation did more than redefine her personal relationships. It allowed her to serve as a role model for countless young fans struggling with similar questions of identity and self-acceptance. Raven-Symoné's story underscores the courage needed to confront cultural expectations and personal fears. Her decision to live openly demonstrates that authenticity and happiness are inseparable from self-acceptance. She has used her platform not only to entertain, but also to empower, showing that embracing one's truth can be both transformative and inspiring. Through her journey, Raven exemplifies the power of self-realization and resilience. Her life teaches that fulfillment comes from living in alignment with one's identity, even when it defies convention. As a trailblazer in both entertainment and LGBTQ+ advocacy, Raven-Symoné continues to inspire others to find freedom and joy in authenticity, leaving an enduring legacy of courage and empowerment. Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean, one of the most influential voices in contemporary R&B and hip-hop, has captivated the world with his emotionally charged lyrics and genre-defying sound. Yet, behind the artistic brilliance lies a deeply personal journey of self-discovery, secrecy, and courage, as he navigated his true sexuality in an industry and culture often unwelcoming to authenticity. For much of his early career, Frank maintained a carefully curated public image. His relationships with women were highlighted in the media, creating the perception of a conventional R&B star. Behind the scenes, however, he wrestled with feelings that did not conform to public expectations. The pressure to maintain privacy while building a career left him living in quiet isolation, torn between fame and the desire to live authentically. The turning point came in 2012, when Frank took the bold step of openly sharing his attraction to men through a candid Tumblr post. This revelation was a watershed moment, not only for him personally, but also for the music industry, challenging stereotypes and encouraging honest conversations about sexuality. By embracing his truth, Frank reclaimed control of his narrative, allowing his music to reflect a more profound, vulnerable, and authentic self. Frank Ocean's journey underscores the challenges faced by LGBTQ+ individuals in entertainment, especially those of color, where systemic pressures often force concealment. His courage illustrates the transformative power of self-acceptance, demonstrating that honesty can be a tool for liberation rather than fear. Through his art and public candor, Frank Ocean inspires fans to embrace their own identities and confront societal expectations with bravery. His story is a testament to the strength required to pursue authenticity, showing that living truthfully can lead to not only personal freedom, but also enduring artistic impact. Frank Ocean remains a symbol of resilience, vulnerability, and the power of embracing one's true self. Niecy Nash. Niecy Nash, a versatile actress, comedian, and producer, has long captured audiences with her vibrant humor, magnetic charisma, and authentic storytelling. While her public persona radiates joy and confidence, her personal journey reflects a profound struggle with identity and self-acceptance, particularly regarding her sexuality. Throughout much of her life and career, Niecy conformed to societal expectations, entering 2 marriages with men and raising children while cultivating the image of a perfect family. On the surface, she appeared fulfilled, but beneath that carefully curated exterior lay feelings that contradicted the world's perception of her. This tension created a private life filled with quiet reflection, longing, and the challenge of reconciling personal truth with public expectation. A turning point arrived in 2020, shortly after her second divorce, when Niecy fully embraced her attraction to women. Her relationship with Jessica Betts marked not just a personal liberation, but a public statement of authenticity and courage. By living openly, Niecy challenged societal norms and demonstrated that fulfillment and happiness come from embracing one's truth, regardless of external pressures. Niecy Nash's story underscores the complexity of navigating identity in the public eye. Her journey illustrates that self-acceptance is not always easy, but is essential for genuine happiness. Through her courage and openness, she has become an inspiration for countless individuals struggling with similar questions about love, identity, and authenticity. Cheryl Swoopes. Cheryl Swoopes, a legendary figure in women's basketball and a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, is celebrated not only for her unparalleled talent on the court, but also for her resilience and determination. While fans admired her athletic prowess and competitive spirit, Cheryl's personal journey reveals a profound struggle with identity and the pursuit of authenticity in both her private and public life. In the early years of her career, Cheryl married Eric Jackson, a basketball coach, and became a mother, seemingly embodying the ideal family image. Yet, beneath the surface, she wrestled with her true self. Despite the outward appearance of success and stability, Cheryl faced an internal conflict. The life she was living did not fully reflect her identity or desires. The pressure to maintain a perfect image left her feeling isolated, struggling quietly with the reality of her sexuality. A pivotal moment came in 2005 when Cheryl made the courageous decision to publicly come out. No longer willing to live in the shadows, she embraced her attraction to women, demonstrating bravery and authenticity. This revelation redefined her personal relationships and marked a turning point in her life, allowing her to live openly and pursue happiness without compromise. Cheryl Swoopes' story exemplifies the strength it takes to confront societal expectations and embrace one's truth. Her journey highlights that true fulfillment comes from self-acceptance and courage, even in the face of potential criticism and prejudice. By sharing her story, Cheryl has become an inspiration for athletes, LGBTQ+ individuals, and fans worldwide, showing that living authentically is both empowering and liberating. Behind the glitz, glamour, and record-breaking hits, many Black R&B legends and celebrities carried secrets that shaped their lives in silence. From Whitney Houston's hidden love to Frank Ocean's courageous revelation, these artists navigated fame while concealing their true selves, enduring fear, isolation, and heartbreak. Their stories remind us that societal pressures can force even the brightest stars to hide, sacrificing love and authenticity for acceptance. But as the world gradually changes, the question remains, should these truths have remained hidden, or does their courage inspire a new era where authenticity triumphs over expectation?